Introduce a little anarchy, upset the established order, and everything becomes chaos. Hello everyone, and welcome to Metagame Mastery, where it's not just about what the card does, but how it impacts the game. Today we are very proud to present our very first Battlebond deck tech. We're calling it Eyes on the Prize, featuring Okaun, Eye of Chaos, and his partner, the Eye of Wisdom. If you enjoy our content, click that subscribe button so you get access to all our latest videos. And if you're looking to support the channel, we have an Amazon affiliate link in the description below. Any purchases made there, a small percentage will come back to help the channel. Without further ado, big time, go time, let's go. First up, let's take a look at our commanders. Okaun, Eye of Chaos is 5 CMC, 4 colorless, and a red for a 3/3 legendary Cyclops Berserker. At the beginning of combat on your turn, flip a coin until you lose a flip. Whenever a player wins a coin flip, double Okaun's power and toughness until end of turn. The Eye of Wisdom is 5 CMC, 4 colorless, and a blue for a 1/4 legendary homunculus. At the beginning of combat on your turn, flip a coin until you lose a flip. Whenever a player wins a coin flip, draw a card. So these two are two sides of the same coin. One is a massive attacking force, the other one is a card drawing engine. And that's basically how this deck is going to run. We're going to flip lots of coins, we're going to smash in for a crap ton of commander damage, but we're also going to replenish our hand and have a very powerful control strategy. Of course, all that is predicated on us actually flipping coins. And we're going to get maximum advantage out of our coin flips thanks to Krark's Thumb. It's 2 colorless mana for a legendary artifact. If you would flip a coin, instead flip 2 coins and ignore 1. Now, while not a budget option, Mana Crypt is perfect for this deck. It costs no mana for an artifact that at the beginning of your upkeep, you get to flip a coin. If you lose the flip, it deals 3 damage to you, so there is a downside. But being able to tap it to add 2 colorless mana to your mana pool and ramp out your commanders even faster is well worth it, and the incidental value of just getting those coin flips is going to add up very quickly. Goblin Bomb is 2 CMC, 1 colorless and red for an enchantment. During your upkeep, you may choose to flip a coin. Target opponent calls heads or tails while the coin is in the air. If the flip ends up on your favor, put a fuse counter on Goblin Bomb. Otherwise, remove a fuse counter from Goblin Bomb. You can remove 5 fuse counters from Goblin Bomb, sacrifice Goblin Bomb, and it deals 20 damage to target player. So, being able to burn someone for 20 damage as an ability is pretty powerful, but that's not why we're running this card. We're running this card for the incidental value of being able to flip a coin every single turn, and unlike most coin flip cards, the downside for losing is minimal. We don't even care whether or not we accumulate any fuse counters, making this particularly potent in this deck. Planar Chaos is 3 CMC, 2 colorless and a red for an enchantment. At the beginning of your upkeep, flip a coin. If you lose the flip, sacrifice Planar Chaos. Whenever a player casts a spell, that player flips a coin. If he or she loses the flip, counter that spell. An amazing, amazing disruption card, making it so that your opponents don't know if they'll get any value off of any of their cards in hand. Super powerful, great way to lose friends, and getting additional coin flips every single turn. Molten Rebirth is 3 CMC, 1 colorless, red for a sorcery. Put 2 1/1 red elemental creature tokens onto the battlefield, then flip a coin. If you win the flip, return Molten Birth to its owner's hand. Just a great way to populate the board and get recurring coin flips. Squeeze Revenge is 3 CMC, 1 colorless, blue-red for a sorcery. Choose a number. Flip a coin that many times or until you lose a flip, whichever comes first. If you win all of coin flips, draw 2 cards for each flip. Not only is this a potent way for you to potentially get a ton of extra card advantage, but on top of that, this is a way for you to flip a coin any number of times, making for a massive buff with your commanders. Stitch in Time is 3 CMC, 1 colorless, blue-red for a sorcery. Flip a coin. If you win the flip, take an extra turn after this one. Taking extra turns is particularly powerful when we're attacking with a massive Cyclops, knocking opponents out of the game with commander damage. Two-headed giant is 4 CMC, 2 colorless, red for a 4/4 giant warrior. Whenever he attacks, flip 2 coins. If both coins come up heads, he gains double strike until end of turn. If both coins come up tails, he gains menace until end of turn. Great way for you to get 2 free coin flips every single turn cycle. And on top of that, there is no downside, no matter what the result. Amazing card for this deck. Ralzeric is 4 CMC, 2 colorless, blue-red for a legendary planeswalker with a starting loyalty of 4. It's a +1 ability, tap target permanent, then untap another target permanent. -2 ability, he deals 3 damage to target creature or player, and his ultimate is -7, flip 5 coins, take an extra turn after this one for each coin that comes up heads. Awesome card, not only giving us a little bit of mana ramp so that we can curve into our commanders on the next turn, but on top of that, he gives us spot removal if necessary, and his ultimate is an incredible synergy, giving us 5 coin flips in a single turn. Amazing for this deck. Not to mention the extra turns where we can attack in with our Cyclops for incredible commander damage. Chance Encounter is 4 CMC, 2 colorless, red for an enchantment. Whenever you win a coin flip, put a luck counter on Chance Encounter. At the beginning of your upkeep, if Chance Encounter has 10 or more luck counters on it, you win the game. A great alternate win condition, really sneaks up on your opponent and can steal the game out of nowhere. Creepy Doll is 5 CMC, for a 1/1 artifact creature construct that is indestructible. When it deals combat damage to a creature, flip a coin. If you win the flip, destroy that creature. An awesome chump blocker that never goes away and has pseudo death touch while still giving us coin flips to synergize with our commanders. Everything we want. Of course, our main kill condition is commander damage, so we're going to have to Voltron up our commander and push through some attacks. Onaganata is 1 colorless mana for an artifact equipment with an equip cost of 2. It can only be attached to a creature with 3 or more power. Equipped creature is +3/+0 and has trample. Great way for us to push through that commander damage when our Cyclops is getting really out of control. Swiftfoot Boots is 2 colorless mana for an artifact equipment with equip cost of 1. Equipped creature has hexproof and haste. Great way to start swinging right out the gate. Lightning Greaves is 2 colorless mana for an artifact equipment with equip cost of 0. Creature has haste and shroud. Just continuing to push through the damage and protect our main kill condition. Aggravated Assault is 3 CMC, 2 colorless and red for an enchantment. You can pay 3 colorless, red, untap all creatures you control. After this main phase, there's an additional combat phase followed by an additional main phase. Activate this ability only anytime you could cast a sorcery. This is particularly powerful in this deck because the buffs you build up on your Cyclops do not go away at the end of phases. And every time you go into a combat step, his ability triggers all over again. On top of that, the additional combat phases allow you to continue pushing through, getting more attacks with your increasingly massive commander. And activating this ability happens to be the exact same CNC as his casting cost. So if you can do one, you can do the other. An amazing follow-up. Tenza, Godo's Maul is 3 colorless mana for a legendary artifact equipment with an equip cost of 1. Equipped creature gets +1/+1. As long as it's legendary, it gets an additional +2/+2. As long as it's red, it has trample. Getting +3/+3 and trample on our Cyclops is a great way to push through additional damage. Whisper Silk Cloak is 3 colorless mana for an artifact equipment with an equip cost of 2. Equipped creature can't be blocked and has Shroud. Forget Trample. Why even worry about that when we could just hit our opponents directly? Thassa, God of the Sea, is 3 CMC, 2 colorless and a blue for a 5/5 legendary enchantment creature god with indestructible. As long as your devotion to blue is less than 5, Thassa isn't a creature. At the beginning of your upkeep, scry 1. You can also pay 1 colorless and a blue. Target creature you control can't be blocked this turn. We will rarely have the devotion to make this a creature. More often than not, this is just an extraordinarily difficult to remove enchantment, but that's why we love her. Getting the additional scry every upkeep, of course, is nice, but being able to make our Cyclops unblockable turn after turn after turn is the power we're looking for here. Helm of the Host is 4 colorless mana for a legendary artifact equipment with equip cost of 5. At the beginning of combat on your turn, create a token that's a copy of equipped creature, except that token isn't legendary if the equipped creature is legendary. That token gains haste. So what's better than a Cyclops that gets bigger every single time you flip a coin? 2 Cyclopses that get bigger every single time you get a coin. Or 3, or 4, or it just goes on and on and on. Mu Yanling is 6 CMC, 4 colorless, blue for a legendary planeswalker with a starting loyalty of 5. Her +2 ability is target creature can't be blocked this turn. Her -3 ability is draw 2 cards, and her ultimate is -10, tap all creatures your opponents control, take an extra turn after this one. Perfect for this deck. First, she helps us push through the commander damage, making our Cyclops unblockable. Or, if need be, if we're in a control mode, she draws us additional cards. And then lastly, her ultimate perfectly synergizes, tapping down all of our opponent's potential blockers so that we can attack through unscathed and getting us an extra turn to do it all over again. Amazing card for this deck. Of course, what is Chaos without disruption? First example we have is Counterbalance. It's blue for an enchantment. Whenever an opponent casts a spell, you may reveal the top card of your library. If you do, counter that spell if it has the same converted mana cost as the revealed card. Great with cards like Brainstorm and Sensei's Dividing Top, which we just might be running in this deck. Blood Moon is 3 CMC, 2 colorless and a red for an enchantment. Non-basic lands are mountains. Shut them down. Magus of the Moon is 3 CMC, 2 colorless and a red for a 2/2 human wizard. Non-basic lands are mountains. Once again, shutting down our opponents so that they can't play their spells. They lose their mana fixing, and we laugh all the way to the win. Now, our commanders are very expensive, so we're going to have to ramp them into play early in order to get maximum effectiveness out of them. Cards like Chrome Mox, it's 0 mana for an artifact with imprint. When it enters the battlefield, you may exile a non-artifact, non-land card from your hand, and then you can tap it to add 1 mana of any of the exiled card's colors to your mana pool. Lotus Petal is 0 mana for an artifact. You can tap it, sack it, add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. Soul Ring is another great way to jump the curve. It's 1 colorless mana for an artifact. Tap it, add 2 colorless mana to your mana pool. Should be really in every commander deck. Izzet Signet is 2 colorless mana for an artifact. You can pay 1 colorless, tap it, add a blue and a red to your mana pool. Felwar Stone is 2 colorless mana for an artifact. Tap it, add to your mana pool 1 mana of any color that a land an opponent controls could produce. Thought Vessel is 2 colorless mana for an artifact. You have no maximum hand size, and you can tap it to add 1 colorless mana to your mana pool. Ruby Medallion is 2 colorless mana for an artifact. Red spells you cast cost 1 colorless less to cast. Sapphire Medallion is 2 colorless mana for an artifact. Blue spells you cast cost 1 colorless less to cast. Coalition Relic is 3 colorless mana for an artifact. Tap it to add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. Or you can tap it to put a charge counter on Coalition Relic. At the beginning of your pre-combat main phase, remove all charge counters from Coalition Relic. Add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool for each charge counter removed this way. Great way for you to cheat your commanders into play just a little bit early. Gilded Lotus is 5 colorless mana for an artifact. Tap it to add 3 mana of any 1 color to your mana pool. Great because it effectively pays back 3 of the mana you put into it, allowing you to get a huge push in additional mana and mana fixing for the rest of the game. And of course, we're going to need some card advantage because we can't just rely on our Eye of Wisdom. So we're running cards like Sensei's Divining Top, allowing us to stack our deck, get additional card selection. Also works very, very well with the counterbalance that we're running. It's 1 colorless mana for an artifact. You can pay 1 colorless, look at the top 3 cards of your library, put them back in any order. You can also tap it to draw a card, and then put Sensei's Divining Top on top of its owner's library. Serum Visions is 1 blue mana for a sorcery, draw a card, scry 2. Preordain is 1 blue mana for a sorcery, scry 2, then draw a card. Brainstorm is 1 blue mana for an instant, draw 3 cards, then put 2 cards from your hand on top of your library in any order. Ponder is 1 blue mana for a sorcery, look at the top 3 cards of your library, then put them back in any order. You may shuffle your library, draw a card. Windfall is 3 CMC, 2 colorless, and a blue for a sorcery. Each player discards his or her hand, then draws cards equal to the greatest number of cards a player discard this way. Mystic Confluence is 3 colorless, blue for an instant. Choose 3. You may choose the same mode more than once. Counter target spell unless its controller pays 3. Return target creature to its owner's hand, or draw a card. Reforge the Soul is 5 CMC, 3 colorless, red for a sorcery. Each player discards his or her hand and draws 7 cards. It also has a miracle cost of 1 colorless and a red. Stolen Strategy is a hidden gem in this deck. It's 5 CMC, 4 colorless and a red for an enchantment. At the beginning of your upkeep, exile the top card of each opponent's library. Until end of turn, you may cast non-land cards from among these exiled cards. You may spend mana as though it were mana of any color to cast these spells. Huge card advantage, allowing you to steal your opponent's kill conditions, and it's infinite mana fixing for those cards, which is particularly effective when we are playing Blood Moon effects. Treasure Cruise is 8 CMC, 7 colorless, and a blue for a sorcery with Delve. Draw 3 cards. Typically, of course, we're only going to be paying 1 for this and removing 7 from our graveyard. Just a great poor man's ancestral recall. And Dig Through Time is 8 CMC, 6 colorless, blue for an instant with Delve. Look at the top 7 cards of your library, put 2 of them into your hand, and the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. Now in a deck like this, with very select kill conditions, we're going to need the right card at the right time, so we have a very intense tutor package. Including Gamble, 1 red mana, sorcery, search your library for a card, put that card into your hand, discard a card at random, then shuffle your library. Mystical Tutor is 1 blue mana for an instant, search your library for an instant or sorcery card, reveal that card, shuffle your library, and put that card on top of it. Just giving us access to whatever answer we need. Merchant Scroll is 2 CMC, 1 colorless, and a blue for a sorcery. Search your library for a blue instant card, reveal that card, and put it into your hand, then shuffle your library. Muddle the Mixture is 2 blue for an instant, counter target instant or sorcery spell. But you never actually want to cast this spell. You want to use its ability to transmute. You pay 1 colorless and 2 blue. Search your deck for any card with converted mana cost of 2, specifically Krark's Thumb. Drift of Phantasms is 3 CMC, 2 colorless, and a blue for a 0/5 spirit with Defender and Flying. But once again, we don't want to use him as a blocker. He's here for the transmute. You pay 1 colorless and 2 blue to search your deck for any card of 3 CMC, like Blood Moon. Fabricate is 3 CMC, 2 colorless and blue for a sorcery, search your deck for any artifact card, reveal it, and put it into your hand, then shuffle your library, like Krark's Thumb. We're also running a few select counters to protect our kill conditions. Swan Song is 1 blue mana for an instant, counter target enchantment, instant, or sorcery spell. Its controller creates a 2/2 blue bird creature token with flying. Counterspell is 2 blue mana for an instant, counter target spell. Counterflux is 2 blue and a red for an instant. Counterflux can't be countered by spells or abilities. Counter target spell you don't control. And Misdirection is 5 CMC, 3 colorless blue for an instant. You may exile a blue card from your hand rather than pay Misdirection's mana cost. Change the target spell with a single target. We also have some removal in this deck. Rapid Hybridization is 1 blue mana for an instant, destroy target creature. It can't be regenerated. That creature's controller gets a 3/3 green frog lizard creature token onto the battlefield. Hongify is 1 blue mana for an instant, destroy target creature. It can't be regenerated. Its creature puts a 3/3 green ape creature token onto the battlefield. Vandal Blast is 1 red mana for a sorcery, destroy target artifact you don't control. It also has an overload cost of 4 colorless and a red. We're also running the new partner planeswalkers from this set. Rowan Kenrith is 6 CMC, 4 colorless red for a legendary planeswalker with a starting loyalty of 4. She partners with Will Kenrith, so when you cast her, you can search your deck for Will and put him into your hand. She has a +2 ability. During target player's next turn, each creature that player controls attacks if able. -2 ability. She deals 3 damage to each tapped creature target player controls. -8 ability. Target player gets an emblem with whenever you activate an ability that isn't a mana ability, copy it. You may choose new targets for the copy. Will Kenrith is 6 CMC, 4 colorless blue for a legendary planeswalker with a starting loyalty of 4. He partners with Rowan Kenrith, so if you play him first, you can tutor for her. He has a +2 ability until your next turn. Up to 2 target creatures each have base power toughness 0/3 and lose all abilities. -2 ability, target player draws 2 cards. Until your next turn, instant sorcery and planeswalker spells that player casts cost 2 colorless less to cast. And a -8 ability, target player gets an emblem. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, copy it. You may choose new targets for the copy. These guys synergize perfectly with this deck, not only clearing a path for us to attack in with our commanders unscathed, but acting as a selective board wipe against our opponent's smaller creatures as well. Perfect. Cyclonic Rift, the most powerful card in Commander, is 2 CMC, 1 colorless, and a blue for an instant. Return target non-land permanent you don't control to its owner's hand with an overload cost of 6 colorless and a blue. Blasphemous Act, the most efficient board wipe in Commander, is 8 colorless mana and a red for a sorcery. It costs 1 less to cast for each creature on the battlefield. It deals 13 damage to each creature. Now, mana bases are flexible based on your budget, but there are some specific utility lands that will go a long way in this build. Flamekin Village enters the battlefield tapped in this deck. It taps for 1 red mana, or you can pay 1 red mana and tap it. Target creature gains haste until end of turn. A great way for you to immediately start swinging in with your commanders. Myriad Landscape enters the battlefield tapped. You can tap it to add 1 colorless mana, or you can pay 2 colorless, tap it, sack it, search your library for 2 basic land cards that share a land type, put them onto the battlefield, then shuffle your library. Particularly important in a Blood Moon deck. Ash Barrens is a land that taps for a colorless mana, but it has basic land cycling for only 1, which means you can pitch this and search for whatever color mana you're missing. Awesome. And Rogue's Passage is a land that you can tap for a colorless mana, or you can pay 4 colorless, tap it, target creature can't be blocked this turn. Great way for you to push through some massive commander damage. As big as our Eye of Chaos is going to be getting, our hand size is going to be growing pretty darn big as well through our Eye of Wisdom. So Reliquary Tower makes perfect sense. It's a land that you can tap for a colorless mana, but as long as it's in play, you have no maximum hand size. That's it for this one. If you're new to the channel, click that subscribe button so you get access to all our latest videos. And if you're looking to support our channel, check out the description below. We have an Amazon affiliate link. Any purchases made there, a small percentage comes back to help the channel. This has been Metagame Mastery. Peace!